Have you ever wondered how you go from knowing absolutely zero Japanese to actually, having a conversation? Well, today we're going to break down that exact journey using one of the most famous textbooks out there as our guide. So let's dive in. So, this bright red book right here, this is our map. It's called Genki, and for a ton of learners all over the world, it's the very first step they take. We're going to unpack exactly how it takes you from the absolute rock-bottom basics to building real sentences, one logical piece at a time. So what's the secret sauce? How does a textbook like this methodically build an entire language inside your head? That's what we're going to explore, using Genki structure as our blueprint. Okay, our first stop is all about getting the essentials. I mean, you can't build a house without your tools, right? In Japanese, that journey starts with learning how to read and speak the absolute basics. The first big hurdle for sure is the writing system, and Japanese has two phonetic alphabets you gotta learn right away. Over on the left, you've got hiragana, which is for native Japanese words. And on the right, the sharper, more angular katakana, which is used for foreign words like coffee or computer. Mastering these is literally the key that unlocks everything else. But here's what's so important. You don't wait to master all the writing before you start talking. The whole approach is super practical from day one. You're immediately learning essential greetings like good morning and thank you. You're actually communicating from the very beginning. So after greetings, you add another crucial tool to your belt, numbers. And this isn't just, abstract counting. You're learning practical stuff like how to tell time, how to exchange phone numbers, real skills you can use immediately. So you've got your basic tools. Now it's time for the next massive leap, taking those individual words and building your very first sentences. This is where the language really, truly starts to come alive. And this right here, this is the little engine that powers all your first conversations. X, Y, desu. It just means X is Y. And this is a big deal because unlike English, Japanese puts the verb at the very end. This simple X is Y structure is the fundamental block you build everything else on. And don't let its simplicity fool you. This little pattern is a powerhouse. With just this one structure, you can say, I am a student, my major is Japanese, or Mrs. Yamamoto is 25 years old. You're not just reciting words, you're making actual statements about yourself and the world around you. And get this, once you can make a statement, asking a question is so easy. In Japanese, you often just add the particle ka right on the end. So this is a pen becomes, is this a pen? Just like that. Suddenly, you're not just stating facts anymore. You're starting a real two-way conversation. Okay, so far, our sentences have been pretty static. It's all about nouns and descriptions. The next step is to add action, to talk about what you do. It's time to unlock the power of verbs. Now, the word conjugation, I know, it can sound a little intimidating, right? But look at how simply it all begins. You just take one verb, like taberu, which means to eat, and you learn its polite forms. Tabemasu for I eat, and tabemasen for I do not eat. It's just a clear, manageable pattern. And this is that method in action. You take that same simple pattern and you just apply it to a core set of really essential verbs. To see, to listen, to go, to speak. You practice this over and over until it becomes second nature, building up your foundation of action words. So once you have your verbs, you start adding another layer. Context. Where do all these actions happen? You learn how to connect a place to a verb so you can finally say things like, I study at the library, or I drink coffee at the coffee shop. Your sentences are getting richer and more detailed. All right, you can now make statements and describe actions. The next stage is all about adding color and dimension to describe how things are and to talk about not just what's happening now, but what happened in the past, too. This is where you really start to express your opinion. With adjectives, you can finally describe a watch as expensive, or a book as interesting, or maybe a town as quiet. You're adding your own personal perspective to the world you're describing. And then comes a huge leap forward, the past tense. Just like with the present tense verbs, you learn a really clear pattern to change drink into drank or buy into bought. This is a total game changer because it unlocks the ability to tell stories. And this is the result. This is the payoff. You can take all those verbs you've learned and pop them into the past tense to describe your entire weekend. On Friday, I listened to music. On Saturday, I worked. On Sunday, I saw a movie.
You're not stuck in the present anymore. You can actually share your experiences.
So you can make statements, ask questions, describe actions, and talk about the past. So what's next? Well, now it's time to learn a grammatical tool that's so useful, it ties everything together and opens up a whole new level of expression. Well, let me introduce you to the te form. It's often called the Swiss Army knife of Japanese grammar, and for a really good reason. It does so many different things. It is arguably the most important verb form you learn in early Japanese because it lets you connect your ideas in much more sophisticated ways. So what can this Swiss Army knife do? Well, first, as you can see here, you can use it to make polite requests. You can ask someone, please sit down, or please take a picture. Super, super useful. Next up, it's the key to navigating social rules. You can use it to ask for permission, like, may I turn off the TV, and also to understand prohibitions, like the signs you see here for no smoking or no photographs. And maybe its most powerful function is that the te form lets you string actions together in a sequence. I woke up and then ate breakfast. I went to the library and then returned the book. This is the real foundation of fluid, natural storytelling. And when you step back, you can see the entire learning system. It's not just a random collection of grammar points, it's a complete cycle. You learn a new concept, you practice it with exercises, you reinforce it by listening, and then you solidify it through reading and writing. Each skill just builds on the last one. In the end, this whole journey from page 1 is about assembling a toolkit, one that allows you to take the thoughts inside your head and share them in a completely new language. So the only real question is, once you have all these tools, what's the first thing you're going to say?